So, sorry. So the goal today is to make these things interesting. I want to try to make them interesting today. So I'm gonna summarize. Àwọn kankan wà tí a ti sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ from the beginning of the course that I want us to like pay particular attention to. So ní àná a ṣe unit 4, a ṣe unit 4 lọ́wọ́. Then a sọ̀rọ̀ lórí limitations, a sọ̀rọ̀ lórí importance of econometrics, a sọ̀rọ̀ lórí what is econometric theory. Then I think we stopped at limitations ni a ṣe dé lánàá. Mhm. So today I want us like I would have been projecting, but there's no need. I'll just be saying the things that I want us like talk about. Then we learn on so lórí type 1 and type 2 errors. Tẹ́ bá rántí. So ẹ tẹ̀lé má rántí meaning in one number at least. We spoke about type 1 and type 2 errors. So I want to like start from one thing that we call the contribution of econometrics to economics. So mo fẹ́ kẹ́ note àwọn kíní yẹn down. The contribution of econometrics. So in case you are maybe asked that what are the contributions of econometrics to economics? So kí ni àwọn okay, even like this. Okay. So fi ṣe ẹ̀sùn gbé mo ti gbé sẹ́nu jù mo ẹ̀fẹ̀ sọ it's okay. Ṣé mo fẹ́ máa ẹ̀sìn ẹ̀kẹ́ sọ pé àṣẹfẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n ìṣẹ́fẹ́ máa jẹ microphone ni ẹ̀ wá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. It is well. Is it okay like this? Okay. So mo ti send àwọn text yẹn sínú chat box. The contributions of econometrics to economics. So number one, is me mo bóyá ẹ rí ṣé ti rí? Okay. Chat box tó wà WhatsApp yín kọ́ mo send ẹ̀ sí. Income messages. Do you have access to your WhatsApp accounts? So number one, it shows whether the relationship between the variables in an economic theory is statistically significant. So I'm ṣàlàyé nǹkan tí statistically significant mean ní statistics and econometrics. So but then the overall contribution is just trying to like let us know pé tí theory bá sọ pé nǹkan báyìí ni ó yẹ kó yẹ ni ó yẹ kó ṣẹlẹ̀, then econometrics máa ń fún wa ní reason láti fi believe pé okay o gbogbo àwọn variables tí ẹ sọ nínú theory yẹn pé okay o relationship tí ẹ ń sọ pé ó wà láàrin wọn ní tòótọ́. So ní tòótọ́ òun ni nǹkan tí econometrics ń try láti ṣe. So let's look at the Keynesian consumption function. tó sọ pé if there is an increase in income, other things being equal, there should be an increase in consumption. Ṣé ẹ rántí? Alright, so economics máa jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé okay ṣé lóòótọ́ ni relationship yìí exist. So you're now going to pick data on income, you pick data on consumption, ẹ máa ṣe regression. So tẹ́ bá ti ṣe regression, ẹ máa get àwọn equation irú àwọn equation tàti fi ń ṣe àpèjúwe kó tó di èní. Ẹ máa get irú àwọn equation bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. But then there's not something that you need to look at there. So although àti like iṣẹ́ yín ò tí ì débẹ̀, but like let me just mention it. Is the relationship statistically significant? Now èèyàn lè ní consumption is equal to kí beta naught kó jẹ́ bí i 40, like beta naught kó jẹ́ 40, kí MPC kó jẹ́ 0.8, then y ìgbà tẹ́ ṣe regression tán lẹ gba beta naught as 40 and lẹ gba beta 1 as 0.8. So is this statistically significant? Ìtumọ̀ ẹ̀ ni pé mo ṣàlàyé lánàá pé there is something, we have population and we have sample. Ṣé ẹ rántí nǹkan tí mo pè wọ́n lánàá? Exactly. So population, raw data làwọn méjì náà, but population is like the entire data of a particular variable. The entire data of a particular variable. But because when you are carrying out research, you cannot, it is difficult or sometimes it is impossible or financially unwise to try to like get all the data of a particular variable. So I'm a draft sample. So ìtumọ̀ statistically significant ni pé relationship tí ẹ gbà based on the values of your parameters, are they true? Like ṣé wọ́n súnmọ́ nǹkan tí ó yẹ kí wọ́n jẹ́ tẹ́ bá lo Google population? Yes, you understand? So the relationship, like your parameters, are they báwo mo tẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ ṣàlàyé again? Are the parameters, the relationship between the parameters based on your sample, is it the same thing as relationship between those parameters like in the entire population? So it's more statistically significant nìyẹn. So sometimes èèyàn lè lo data kan kó ní negative relationship ló wà láàrin consumption o àti income based on a particular sample téèyàn lò. Then ká another person lo another sample kó ní pé kò tiẹ̀ sí relationship rárá. Ká another person lo another sample kó ní positive relationship wà. So èyí tó bá statistically significant òun ni èyí tó sọ pé positive relationship wà, because that is what we kind of expect to have, that when your income is increasing, consumption is supposed to increase as well. But even that is not enough. So only àwọn àmúyẹ kan, àwọn yardstick kan táwọn econometricians máa wá ń lò láti fi ensure pé okay o, this is actually statistically significant. Because sometimes you may have two models like from two different samples nígbà tẹ́ ṣe regression, àwọn méjì máa show positive relationship, but àwọn méjì máa show nìyẹn. So èwo wá ní tòótọ́ náà méjì? So there's a way to now check using wọ́n máa ń pa àwọn kankan ní p-values. So màá ṣáà lo àwọn kankan, ẹ máa wo àwọn kankan ṣá nínú result regression yẹn, ẹ máa sọ pé okay o, eléyìí wà statistically significant. And then there's a possibility that even the two models might be statistically significant. So again, what statistical significance means is that the relationship that exists among the variables drawn from a sample is the same as the relationship that exists between those variables when you look at the population as a whole. Yes, you understand, ma? So number 2, kí ni ìwúlò econometrics again? Number 2 ni pé ó máa ń fún wa ní quantitative estimate of variable relationships. Kí ni ìtumọ̀ quantitative estimate? Ó máa fún yín number. Now kí n sì sọ pé if you earn more money, you will spend more on consumption, but you will not spend up to the entire amount of the change in your income, of the increment in your income. But ọ̀rọ̀ nìyẹn, like kí ni ìtumọ̀ you will not spend the entire amount? What is the figure? So that is, what is the figure of the MPC? Nàìjíríà ti wá níbi bẹ̀yẹn. So by the time you run your regression, àwọn parameters yìí, àwọn estimators yẹn tá a pè ní B0, B1, B2 gbogbo kí n ta sọ lánàá yẹn, so wọ́n máa ní number. So it is econometrics that will help you to generate numbers for those things. So econometrics, econometrics gives quantitative estimates of variable relationships. I'm a relationship between consumption and income, but to what extent is that relationship? Yes, you understand? So I'm saying these things because I'm thinking these are likely questions that you may be asked. Discuss the importance of econometrics, or discuss the or discuss the shortcomings of econometrics. As you said, the cost be real. Yeah, as you said, the cost be real. Then number 3. Okay, ṣé ó pọ̀ tẹ̀ ní àbí ẹ lè sẹ́ni gbogbo náà ká tí a fi mọ nǹkan tẹ́ ká focus lé lórí. So number 3, it helps to confirm or refute an economic theory. Tí theory bá sọ pé okay, other things being equal, an increase in price will lead to a reduction in quantity demanded. Kò sí problem, ẹ̀yin ẹ kàn lọ kó data price jọ, ẹ kó data quantity demanded jọ, kẹ wá run a regression, kẹ lo understanding of econometrics kẹ fi run a regression. Ṣé results yín ṣó follow theory yẹn? Tí results yín ò bá follow theory yẹn, that means it is refuting the theory, that is something is not right with the theory. But if it is correct, ẹni pé tí price nǹkan bá lókè, yẹ quantity demanded máa wálẹ̀ ni. Bàtà dẹ̀ ṣe regression wa tán from econometrics a rí pé tí price bá lókè, in fact quantity náà máa ń lókè ni. So ẹ lè rò pé irú result wo rèé, kẹ́tù lo data mi kó dẹ̀ pé the same thing gbà nìyẹn, and that means something is not right with that theory. So it helps to confirm or refute an economic theory. So refute ni ètí mo ṣàlàyé sí. Confirm if that theory is true. With the aid of econometrics, you will realize it by that about gba data jọ. Ṣe analysis yìí, you might realize okay, theory yẹn correct. That's another thing. Then number 4, it explains the sign of the relationships among observed variables. The sign. So when you are running a regression, this is what we're still talking about economic theory. An increase in price will lead to an increase in quantity supplied. Like that's the law of supply. Increase in price will lead to an increase in quantity supplied. So we'll be expecting that Taba ṣe Q as quantity supplied. So Q equals beta naught plus beta 1 price. Ṣé you understand the bẹ́ẹ̀? So I might expect pé beta 1 ìyẹn tó dúró lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ price, sign tó gbọ́dọ̀ ní must be plus. So we should not be getting a minus 2 point something for beta 1 if it's about sort supply, the theory of supply, because from the law of supply it states that an increase in the price of a commodity will lead to an increase in the quantity supplied of that commodity. So by the time you run a regression, it helps you to realize that okay, your beta 1 or whatever parameter that you have put beside your price must be a positive number at the end of the day. Tó bá lọ fún yín negative number, problem ti wà nìyẹn. So that's number 4. Number 5, it aids accurate forecasting. Econometrics also aids accurate forecasting. So in economics, if you want to forecast, okay, ṣé ká yọ no, not even that. Bí a fẹ́ forecast, okay, budget wa, I expect pé by December 2024, so ó yẹ kí revenue wa, tá bá ti tí ele tó bá wà in place, ó yẹ kí revenue wa jẹ́ $10 billion. So regression function yẹn ti máa wà nílẹ̀. So okay, based on this regression function, our revenue should be like $10 billion. So if your regression function is correct, and you tí ẹ bá ṣe regression, data tó wà nílẹ̀ náà ló máa fi ṣe regression. A máa try láti predict nǹkan tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Ṣé ẹ follow ma? All right. So it is data on ground. Tẹ́gbà ẹ máa fi estimate regression function yín. So ẹ máa fi regression function máa fi try sọ pé okay o, tí exchange rate bá jẹ́ iye báyìí, sí crude oil, bóyá sí crude oil sí à ń mine lójoojúmọ́ àbí tá à ń export tó bá jẹ́ 1.3 million barrels per day, then if this and this and this holds, so we'll be expecting that by December 2024 we'll generate $10 billion. So once our regression function is correct and kò sí shocks, nǹkan tó máa ń pè ní shocks like economic shock, nǹkan tó máa ń pè ní economic shock in economics, these are events that are unprecedented, events that anybody will expect, so they affect either demand or supply. So it could be a supply shock. So to there's a supply shock, then that means something unprecedented has happened that either increases supply or reduces supply. Why demand shock? Something unprecedented has happened that either increases demand or lowers demand. So I'm going to be positive supply shocks, positive demand shocks. COVID. So tẹ́ bá understand nǹkan tí mo ṣàlàyé sí, so irú shock wo lẹ fi pé COVID máa jẹ́ nípa ti demand àti nípa ti supply? Ṣé wọ́n máa jẹ́ positive ní àbí negative? negative because ó reduce the supply, ó dẹ̀ reduce the demand, So things like, so if there are no shocks and all things are stable and your regression function is correct, so other things being equal, ẹ lè fi the understanding of econometrics can be predict the future events, and you can now work up policies, that you can implement to ensure that you have the desired result. Wọ́n lè ṣe náà àwọn tó wà CBN, wọ́n máa ṣe inflation targeting. Inflation tó wà ní Nàìjíríà ó ti pọ̀ jù, so you just want about 30% inflation by December. So láti máa ní àwọn náà ti máa ṣe regression láti lè econometrics láti fi get regression function. So tí parameter ilé bá tí variable ilé bá jẹ́ báyìí, tí ilé jẹ́ báyìí, tí ilé jẹ́ báyìí, tí ilé jẹ́ báyìí, if those things are in place, you should be able to like hit 13% inflation target, by December. So and if there are no shocks, as you understand better, so they can work with that. They can work with the understanding of the econometrics to ensure that okay, they are able to like meet up with that inflation target by December 2024. So econometrics will help to do those things. Now, number 6, it helps in quality control. It helps in policy control. So irú eléyìí ní ìdàkejì forecasting. So forecasting ni pé ẹ̀ ń try àti mọ̀ nǹkan tó wà ní ọjọ́ iwájú, ìyẹn ni forecasting. Then control ni pé ẹ máa zoom figure kan, estimate kan fún ọjọ́ iwájú. So ẹ máa try àti wo nǹkan tẹ́ lè ṣe ní present time to meet up with that future estimate. So ìyẹn ni control. So in the future, or by December, we want crude oil sales of 10 billion. So that's like already lọ́jọ́ iwájú. So what can we do now to ensure that we are able to like meet that target? Okay, okay, we need to raise our we need to raise our crude oil sales from 900,000 barrels per day to about 1.4 million barrels per day. So unless Aban produce 1.4 million barrels per day, la máa lè meet the target of $10 million by December. So if you cannot produce 1.4 million barrels per day now, we will not be able to meet that target in the future. So it is because you have a regression estimation, you have a regression function. Not lè sọ pé okay, ẹ kàn máa ju nọ́mbà kan sí ọjọ́ iwájú pé nọ́mbà yẹn lélẹ̀. Kí wọ́n á fẹ́ fi nọ́mbà yẹn solve out nǹkan tẹ́ need ní èní to meet up, with that. We've explained these things before, but we'll control láti jẹ́ ká ní sí ojú kan so that you can, whenever it is required, ẹ kàn lè pull it out from your understanding pé okay, nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ ní àárín bíbá ilé kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kó wẹ̀ pọ̀, ẹ dẹ́ discuss, ẹ dẹ́ dálẹ̀ with examples in case tó bá jẹ́ discuss. So you can pick any of these 6 and then talk about them with examples, and I think that should be okay. So it is still about what was discussed in the material, but we may not have used the material's language. But nínú ìṣàlàyé èèyàn, ẹni tó bá mark iṣẹ́ máa mọ̀ pé okay o, point báyìí báyìí ni ẹni yìí ń tọ́ka sí láàrin bíbá. So that's about that. Mi ò mọ̀ bí a ní ìbéèrè. Okay, so eléyìí dùn lé ní àbí? Which is simple lọ́wọ́. So the second thing I want us to talk about are the shortcomings of econometrics. Kí làwọn ṣé àbùyẹ àbí kí ló máa ń pè? I don't know, ṣá mi gbọ́ dáadáa. Okay. So what are the shortcomings of? Yeah, I'm sending it now. Yeah. So shortcomings of econometrics. Number 1, it uses past data to predict the future. It uses past data to predict the future. Ó yẹ kò yẹ kí lè jẹ́ short. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Economic stress. So the bank. I'm listening. Okay. Okay. Me, going that I think your internet is not working fine. Yeah, mo ti ń gbọ́ yín báyìí. Hello, ma, mo ti ń gbọ́ yín báyìí. Yeah, ó cut off láàrin kan. Ó cut off láàrin kan, but mo ń try àti gbọ́ àlàyé yín mi ì gbọ́ nígbà tó cut off. Mi ì gbọ́. Páàsì yẹn ló cut off. Òun náà ni like mo fẹ́ gbọ́, òun náà mo fẹ́ gbọ́. So but ibẹ̀ ni network ti sá lọ. So mi ì wá gbọ́ nǹkan tẹ́ sọ. Yes ma, yes ma. Mo ń gbọ́ yín báyìí ma, mo ń gbọ́ yín. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ma, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ma. Èmi sì ń gbọ́ yín o. Mo ń gbọ́ yín mà. Èmi sì ń gbọ́ yín. Èmi sì ń gbọ́ yín. So pé data tó ti kọjá òun là ń lò láti fi predict ọjọ́ iwájú. But then there are things that may happen in the future tó máa da gbogbo analysis wa rú. So I don't know if you got that part ma. Hello ma. Yeah, yes, yes. So like can I proceed? Mo kàn fẹ́ wà sure bóyá ẹ ṣì ń gbọ́ mi torí nísìnyí gan mi ì gbọ́ yín gan mọ́ báyìí. Sọ fún màtá mi. Ó máa gbà. Ó máa fẹ́ o. Yeah, so let's continue. So ẹ lè mute ara yín like so when you now have something to say you can just unmute yourself again. Èmi lè wá dákẹ́ at that point. All right, so number 2, there can be over-reliance on statistical tools, even when the result isn't representative of what is happening in the economy. Now, Iru Ele, I want to say something. Are you there? Like a comment name. Okay, thank you. So number 2, there can be over-reliance on statistical tools. So ní báyìí sìn, wọ́n kọ́ lè kó data kó dẹ̀ dá sínú econometrics package kó dẹ̀ gbé result kan jáde, and then the result all dem máa tẹ̀lé result yẹn bíi pé òun ni the main thing, but the result may not be true. And an example tí mo máa ń lò, at least mo ṣì máa ń lò in this current period, is what is happening to our inflation. Àwọn tó wà ní CBN wọ́n máa ṣe econometrics gidi gan like bó ṣe wà yìí, but then based on the possible result that I think they are getting, àwọn feel pé kí ló ń porúkọ ẹ̀, àwọn feel pé contractionary policies ló máa jẹ́ kí economy Nigeria kó grow because inflation wà and àwọn èèyàn ní owó púpọ̀ tí wọ́n ń ná, òun náà ni inflation ṣe ń wà. Yeah. Ó wà 138. So àwọn feel pé what I think is that àwọn feel pé nítorí kí ló ń porúkọ ẹ̀, nítorí pé àwọn èèyàn ń ná owó the inflation ṣe wà, so they are trying to take money away from the economy. That's what I think that they are trying to do. But to me, ó dẹ̀ lè like nǹkan tí data ń fún wọn, ó lè jẹ́ nǹkan tí data ń fún wọn nìyẹn, but like realistically, there might be another truth to that data, like a part of that data that they are not looking at. So in the sense that um, owó táwọn fi kó wà ní economy, lóòótọ́ ìjọba federal government is printing money. Like recently they printed money, bó ọ̀tẹ̀ ń jẹ́ kí gbogbo agbọ́ pé wọ́n print owó, they printed money. Ó dẹ̀ ń yá owó, ó dẹ̀ ń try láti push owó náà síta. But my hunch is that àwọn kan tó súnmọ́ ìjọba, àpò wọn ni most of àwọn owó yẹn náà ń dà sí. So níbi tí ìjọba ti ń rò bóyá owó yẹn wọnú economy báwọn ṣe fẹ́ kó wọnú economy, àpò àwọn few kan ni a lot of the money ló ń dà sí. So the more they try to use policies to correct those things, àwọn policy ò ní work torí owó tí ẹ ti ẹ̀ rò bóyá ó wọnú economy in the first place kò sí níbẹ̀. So ìwọ̀nba ló dé inú economy, the majority of it tó ṣì wà láàrin àwọn politicians àtàwọn tó ṣàṣù tó mú tó ṣàwà like tó súnmọ́ ìjọba. So sometimes like there might just be too much emphasis on the result ìwà yìí ó correct, a ṣe báyìí a lo OLS, a lo kinní kan, advanced econometric tools la fi get result nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. But then that may just be far from reality. So econometricians are bound to they might end up being over reliant on their tools, and that might be to the detriment of what is happening in the entire economy. So that's a second shortcoming of econometrics. Now a third shortcoming, if analysis fún àwọn number 3 ó jẹ́ like a very very important shortcoming of econometrics. A máa ń twist the data, like no kì í ṣe pé à ń twist the data, a máa ń twist the econometric technique tá à ń lò. A ti mọ̀ pé okay o, based on data tá a gbà yìí bóyá demand and supply là ń ṣe, at least as a simple example, based on data tá a gbà yìí a feel pé ó yẹ kí income ó ní positive relationship pẹ̀lú demand, right? Ìyẹn tó yẹ pé normal goods àwọn goods tá à ń gbò, normal goods are goods that consumers buy more of when they have more income, right? That gbogbo goods tá à ń lò pé normal goods ni wọ́n, so a dẹ̀ gba data on their quantities and prices. A lè wá tá a bá wá ṣe regression àwọn àtọ́ta lo econometric techniques tá a mọ̀ tàbí ṣe result, a máa rí i pé relationship tó wà láàrin quantity demanded àti income ó negative. Tó bá ti bó ti wà negative bẹ́ẹ̀ kí la máa ṣe, a máa padà sí ibi tá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ analysis wa, a kò máa twist nǹkan kan. Ó ní nǹkan kan tó máa bíyá example ẹ lè má understand nǹkan tí mo sọ èdè lè mọ̀, bíyá lag, how many lag ni a lò for the first one, bíyá 2 lags la lò tó fún wa ní result tí ò commensurate pẹ̀lú theory, àwọn lọ change ẹ̀ sí 1 lag. Tá a bá change ẹ̀ sí 1 lag ó sì fún wa ní result tá a fẹ́, àwọn change ẹ̀ sí 4 lags. So a máa adjust ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ọ̀sẹ̀ tá a bá get nǹkan tá a fẹ́ gangan. So and there was even a time I was talking to a friend and the friend was telling me the same thing, máa tweak ẹ̀ náà ni o until you get the result that you are looking for. So nígbà tí econometrics bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, so what is the assurance pé results tí ó wà nílẹ̀ is actually true when people could actually tweak statistical packages to get the exact result that they want. So ìyẹn náà wà lára kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ tó wà nínú econometrics. Then number 4, econometrics could help us build models that over or underestimate future events. A ti sọ ní ara advantages econometrics in the sense that tí ẹ bá a lè fi predict the future events, but then there are times gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìkànnì example tá a ṣe ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá or thereabout, there are times tó yẹ pé model wa really correct. So tá a bá dé ọjọ́ iwájú tá a predict a máa rí pé gap wà láàrin nǹkan tí model wa sọ pé ó yẹ kí ó wà, pé number tó yẹ ká gbà àti number tí à ń gbà, even if there was no significant changes in the economic conditions. So there might be like gaps, and the gaps may be so wide and they may be small. So and it may be that we overestimated the future event in the sense that econometric model gave a higher forecast than what was actually obtainable, and there might be a situation where it gives a lower forecast than what was actually attainable. So that one too is also a shortcoming of econometrics. Number 5, ṣé ní ìbéèrè at this point, ma'am? Okay, okay. So number five, econometrics require quantitative data. Mo ti ṣàlàyé eléyìí náà rí. Nọ́mbà ni. So nǹkan tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe tí ò bá sí ní ṣe pẹ̀ tí ò bá sí ọ̀nà tẹ́ fi lè convert ẹ̀ sí nọ́mbà, you can't do anything about it. So even tó bá jẹ́ nǹkan tí ó ń da àwọn èèyàn láàmú, pé kíní yẹn ń da àwọn èèyàn láàmú pé ó yẹ kí wọ́n rí àtúnṣe sí, but once tí econometrics ò bá lè ti lè convert kíní yẹn sí nọ́mbà tó lè measure, then it's not going to be applicable. So nǹkan tí number five ń sọ ní tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. So and I think I mentioned an example yesterday tí mo sọ̀rọ̀ convenience. Wípé how do you measure convenience? Although in advanced econometrics wọ́n ti develop technique kan fún yẹn, a máa ń pè ní dummy variables. Let me write it, dummy. Wípé èèyàn jẹ́ dọ̀dọ̀yọ̀, wọ́n á pè èèyàn ní dummy. So dummy variables ó ní wọ́n ti develop method yẹn, but still um, this is also used when you can kind of convert everything to like bí àwọn yes or no question tó máa wà nínú tó máa wà nínú kí ló máa pè kiri questionnaire. Àwọn yes or no question yẹn, how old are you 26 years old? Have you smoked before? Have you kíní kan before? Then ẹ máa ní yes, no, nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. So wọ́n máa fi dummy variables represent when econometrics analysis. But if it happens that they can't do that, then that means no matter how cogent the issue on ground is, econometrics is not going to be useful because it needs numbers. Then number six, it does not establish causation. Now, kí ni ìtumọ̀ causation? Eléyìí ló fa eléyìí. So econometrics kò kí ń like kò rẹwà responsible fún kíní yẹn. Okay o, price, changes in price ló máa ń fa changes in quantity demanded. Ti econometrics kọ́ nìyẹn. So reason ni pé because econometrics máa ń want is the mean value, and I mentioned it yesterday from the definition of regression that I gave you, that is looking for the mean value of the dependent variable, right? As a result of the fixed values of the independent variables in repeated sampling, like mo kàn tún kí ló ń porúkọ ẹ̀, mo kàn tún nǹkan tí mo sọ lánàá mo kàn ṣáà tiẹ̀ tún sọ again. Mo ń bọ̀, mo ti fẹ́ wo recording yẹn. Okay. So econometrics kò kí ń establish causation, so kò ní sọ fún yín pé price ló fa nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí quantity demanded. Now reason ni pé tẹ́ bá ṣe regression, most things in regression náà ṣáà ni you have to like build a model and perform a regression analysis. So tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe analysis yìí, tẹ́ bá fi price tẹ́ fi ṣe dependent variable, tẹ́ bá fi quantity demanded tẹ́ fi ṣe independent variable. Ẹ mọ̀, so nǹkan tá à ń sọ níbí ẹ̀ ni pé quantity demanded òun ló ń determine price. Like ṣé ó yé yín mà? So tẹ́ bá ṣe regression ó máa fún yín result. Ó máa fún yín result. Tẹ́ bá tún wá tún ṣe in the other way, tẹ́ bá ní okay o, quantity demanded òun ni dependent variable, price òun ni independent variable, á tún fún yín ní result náà. So kò ní sọ fún yín pé eléyìí ló ń fa eléyìí o, àbí yẹn ló ń fa eléyìí, until you know the economic theory behind what you are doing. So on its own, it does not tell you like this is causing that, because if you like regress it this way, if you like do a regression in the other way, you would have results. Anything ẹ bá ṣáà kó síbẹ̀ máa rí results. Ó máa kó nǹkan kan jáde. Bí result yẹn wà meaningful, bí result yẹn wà meaningless, ó máa kó nǹkan jáde. So if you don't understand economic theory properly, the results that you are going to be getting when you conduct an econometrics analysis may not make sense, and you might erroneously think that it makes sense. But that now takes us back to key definition econometrics fúnra rẹ̀, mi mọ̀ bí ẹ rántí mà. Yeah, that's the main definition gan náà nìyẹn. Mathematics. Okay. Àbí theoretical. Okay, that's fine. So a ti parí ìyẹn bẹ́ẹ̀. So that would also help you tẹ́ bá rí nǹkan kan. Nǹkan tí mo ń sọ ẹ wà lára nǹkan tá a máa ṣe lénìí o, like mo ti ń cover nǹkan tá a máa ṣe lénìí already, so I just like try to like instead ká máa ka gbogbo àwọn kíní yẹn, just bring out important things and talk about them straight up. So yesterday A sọ̀rọ̀ lórí properties of OLS estimators. We mentioned that OLS estimators are the best tí a máa ń lò in econometric research, and mo ṣàlàyé pé nítorí àwọn properties kan tó ní ni. There are other estimators. So eléyìí tá à ń sọ OLS is ordinary least squares. So there is a like tá a bá ti ń ṣe iṣẹ́ wa ní like ọwọ́ iwájú, a máa rí like wọ́n ṣàlàyé OLS, mo ti wo material yẹn déwájú lénìí. So there is ordinary least squares. Òun ni wọ́n máa ń lò gangan ní econometrics. Others might use other things. So like why do we use ordinary least squares estimators? Mo lè ṣàlàyé again lánàá pé àwọn parameters wa òun ló ń pè ní estimators o. Ṣé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi mà? So mo ti send ẹ̀, mo rí pé ẹ̀ tí kà á, mo ti send nǹkan míì sínú chat yín. Àwọn parameters wa ni wọ́n ń pè ní estimators, those beta naught, beta 1, beta 2, whatever. Ẹ káàbọ̀ mà, mo rí pé ẹ ti débẹ̀. So there are others. I mentioned one here, generalized least squares, GLS. There's GLS. There are others that you can mention. But why do we use OLS estimators like a lot in econometrics research? Or maybe even why do we have òun ló máa ń tiẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ kọ́yàn tí wọ́n fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ econometrics, why not others? Right? So we said it is because it has 4 basic properties. Our properties here then are summarized like we need blue. Okay, OLS estimators are blue. So what does it mean? They are best, they are linear, they are unbiased estimators. So OLS estimators are best, linear, unbiased estimators. So this one too is in case you are asked a question that what are the properties of OLS estimators? Discuss the properties of OLS estimators, or discuss why OLS estimators are often used and not other estimators. So reason is that OLS estimators are best, they are linear, they are unbiased, and there is also a fourth point: they are consistent. In fact, Taba débi tí a ti máa ṣe properties of OLS estimators in this material, they are like 7 tí wọ́n list síbẹ̀, but like eléyìí tó wà níbàyìí náà òun náà wà okay. Now it was explained yesterday that why do we call them best? So that okay, best is also same as efficient. OLS estimators, they are best estimators. They are also like is another name for best estimator is that they are efficient, or we call them best estimators because they are efficient estimators. Kí ni ìtumọ̀ efficient estimators? Gbogbo kí n ta máa ń ṣe ní economics: efficiency, optimization, maximize revenue, minimize cost, nǹkan kan. So efficiency is just talking about you making the best of something. So but then in this case, we say that OLS estimators are efficient because they have the least standard error. They have the least standard error. Mo dẹ̀ ṣàlàyé lánàá pé parameter tí ẹ kẹ́ gbà, like estimate parameter tí ẹ kẹ́ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ bí beta naught. If beta naught is supposed to be 19, tẹ́yìn wá gba beta naught ìgbà tẹ́ parí modeling, tẹ́yìn wá gba beta naught of like let's say 21. So there's 21 minus 19, standard error of 2. So I also mentioned that's not the exact way it works, but since we've not started calculation, we'll like just understand it that way. So by the time they look other estimators, tí o kì í ṣe OLS, àwọn tí wọ́n lè máa fún ní standard error tó ju 2 lọ. So it has been proven statistically that OLS estimators have the least standard error. So and as a result of that, they will be very close, like they will be the closest to the true value of, or to the population value of that parameter. Again, sample and low. I've been trying to share and try to get to the behavior of the population data, something like that, from our sample. So once you realize that the standard error is, it has been realized that the standard error whenever you use OLS estimator is the smallest compared to other forms of estimators. That's why we call them efficient. Another name, best. Now linear, they are linear because the highest power of those estimators is equal to 1. Like the power, their power, they are equal to 1. Now awani over unbiased. So kini ìtumọ̀ unbiasedness. So it's just telling that the estimators are representative of the true value, right? So the estimators are unbiased because their values are representative of the population or the true value. So whatever gbà, rest assured that it is very, very close, or it is the same thing as what the population parameter is supposed to be. So if your B naught is 21, you may get 19, you may get 18.5, you may get 20.1 or something like that. Now number four, consistency. OLS estimators are consistent. Why do we say they are consistent? They are consistent in the sense that the more the data you are using, right, the closer would be your estimators to the population value. The more the data, so the more your sample size, your total sample size of 20, the more increase say 50, your parameter from your sample, our estimators here, they be getting closer and closer and closer to what the true parameter is. So, which is another argument for which is another reason why it is often argued that whenever you are performing analysis, that you should use a large amount of data. Tó bá jẹ́ time series ní wọ́n á ní kẹ́ lo 30 years, minimum of 30 years. Tẹ́ bá rí data 40 years, tẹ́ bá rí data 50 years ẹ lò, but don't use 5 years, 10 years. So the answers that those ones will give you would not likely represent what the entire data set is like supposed to be. So something like that. So I don't know. Even at this point, do you have questions too before we move? Have any contribution? Oh, okay, okay. So then yesterday we spoke about errors. Spoke about errors, type 1 error and type 2 errors. Mumbo. So must send here no. So for us to really understand this type 1 and type 2 errors, we really have to understand two set of hypotheses. A máa ń pè kan ní null hypothesis and a máa ń pè kan ní alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Now, kí ni ìtumọ̀ hypothesis gan, like in the first place? So hypothesis is like a guess. So it's a possible explanation for a particular event. So hypothesis, or let me just look for hypothesis in statistics. Mo try to check it online. So a supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence. A supposition or a proposed explanation based hypothesis is a supposition or so possible explanation for a current for a particular event on explanation on hypothesis, but it is based on limited evidence. So èèyàn kàn lè sọ pé mo dẹ̀ guess pé nǹkan báyìí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ àbí inflation wa bó ṣe ń wò báwọn politician ṣe ń náwó recklessly. Okay. All right. So èèyàn lè sọ pé inflation tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nigeria is because politicians are spending money recklessly. Ẹnìkan lè sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, ẹlòmíì lè sọ another thing. So all of those things are hypotheses, they are possible explanations, but then until we begin to carry out research, la máa mọ̀ pé bóyá ìyẹn ló ń fà ó àbí nǹkan míì wá ń díẹ̀. So there are now two types of hypotheses in statistics. One is null hypothesis. Null, N-U-L-L. Ẹ mọ̀ gbọ́n ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe kọ̀ǹpútà náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe àwọn ilé. Okay. Okay. Ṣé mọ̀ type 1 and type 2 ẹ̀rọ kakún bẹ́ẹ̀ ni? Okay. Mo ní ṣé mọ̀ type 1 and type 2 ẹ̀rọ ní statistics. Òun kọ́ o. Yẹ kí a máa ṣàlàyé nǹkan mi lọ. So null hypothesis null hypothesis is the hypothesis meant to be rejected in a research. Null hypothesis is the hypothesis meant to be rejected in a research. Is meant to be rejected. And alternative hypothesis is an hypothesis meant to not be rejected. So I think ní accepted ní statistics. So reject, not reject ló máa ń lò. Instead of course we reject àti accept. So I want you to take note of that. So alternative hypothesis in here, okay, is the hypothesis that is not meant to be rejected. Is the hypothesis that is not meant to be rejected. So báwo ló ṣe máa ń work? Tí wọ́n bá sọ pé mo lo example kan níbàyí already pé if you check this eléyìí tí mo okay you can't even see from there. So if you check the type 1 error tí mo send sí yín tẹ́ bá wà níbẹ̀, ó ní hypothesis kan tí mo fi síbẹ̀. Mo ní e.g. tẹ́ bá wo part ẹ̀yìn wọ̀n kí lẹ rí níbẹ̀? Exactly. So effect of the efficacy of a vaccine in curing malaria. So nǹkan tí analysis yìí fẹ́ show ni pé vaccine yẹn cure malaria. So nǹkan tí analysis fẹ́ show nìyẹn. So but your null hypothesis would be the vaccine does not cure malaria. So since what you are trying to prove in your work is that the vaccine cures malaria, so at the end of the day, you're expected to reject that null hypothesis. The vaccine can cure malaria. The vaccine has no effect on malaria. So now model state here by the null hypothesis, which is H naught. H naught, I'm denote H0. H naught will say there is no effect between the vaccine and the curing of malaria. Then the alternative hypothesis might also be there is an effect between the vaccine and the curing of malaria, or put in a better way, the vaccine cures malaria. So Emma carry as researching. So got the results in bar fún Emma get the econometric model. Because results in bar fún ló determine bóyá Emma reject null hypothesis eventually, or you are not going to reject that null hypothesis. So níbo wá ni àwọn type 1 àti type 2 error tí máa ń wá? Type 1 error is actually a failure on the part of a researcher in rejecting a null hypothesis when the null hypothesis is actually true. So type 1, mo ti explain it, okay, type 1 errors, it is called a false positive. Type 1 error is called a false positive. So it is rejecting null hypothesis that explains no relationship among the variables instead of failing to reject the null hypothesis. So níbí báyìí sìn gbàtẹ́ ṣe gbogbo research yín tán, bóyá ẹ̀yin ni ẹni tó create oògùn yẹn, vaccine yẹn, ẹ wá rí i pé based on the data kò sí relationship kankan nínú oògùn tí ẹ fún àwọn patients àti curing of malaria. Ṣé máa fẹ́ present irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn? So in that case, your null hypothesis is actually correct. Ìpè kò sí relationship, but then ẹ máa parọ́, máa ní relationship wà. So instead of key statistics sọ pé ẹ ń parọ́, statistics máa sọ pé ẹ ń commit type 1 error. In the sense that you are creating a false positive. Kí ni positive mean pé relationship wà? So ẹ ń create relationship òdì lẹ ń create. So that is a false positive. So in case you see it somewhere, maybe you should explain the meaning of a false positive. Ẹ ṣe yẹ kẹ́ ti mọ̀ pé type 1 error ló ń sọ fún yẹn. Like show yé yín mà. So trying to create a relationship where it does not exist. Now number 2, the type 2 error. Now type 2 error ń tẹ̀ òun ṣe pé relationship wà, but ẹ̀ ń díjú ẹ fẹ́ acknowledge ẹ̀ pé relationship wà. That's type 2 error. So like it will be better to master these things. So most of examples so that you'll be able to understand them. So for type 2 error, bóyá mo for example kan sí ìbá pé okay o like a president tó wà níjọba like ẹ, so ẹ wá ń ṣe research yẹn fẹ́ fi proof pé gbogbo foreign direct investment tí ìjọba yẹn ti ń attract wọ ní Nigeria economy pé kò ní ipa kankan lórí economic growth wa, pé waste ni. So nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ prove nìyẹn. But then by the time they carry out research yín show pé FDI in impact, but because you are so filled with hate for the president, so ẹ wá ṣáà parọ́ ẹ ṣáà díjú pé àní kò sí sẹ́ẹ̀. Yes, you understand the conveyance. So that's a type 2 error. So I explain it here. It is called a false negative. Negative in the sense that you are saying that there is no relationship. Ìyẹn ni ìtumọ̀ negative. Positive ta sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan relationship wà. But positive ta sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan tẹ́ni pé false positive. There was no positive relationship there, that is kò sí relationship kankan for the type 1 error. But ẹ̀ ń parọ́ pé relationship wà. Eléyìí relationship wà, but ẹ̀ ń parọ́ pé relationship ò sí. That's why they call it false negative. So the negative is that you are saying there is no relationship, but it is false. So the example I put there is that this is the error a researcher commits by overlooking an existing relationship. Example: if the researcher, in his efforts to rubbish the policies a president's the policy, if the researcher in his efforts to rubbish the policies of a president he doesn't like, he is desperately trying to show that FDI, that's foreign direct investment, has no impact whatsoever on the Nigerian economy, whereas the result proves otherwise. The researcher commits a type 2 error by trying to establish no relationship that is negative, which is false. So that's type 2 error. So I want to master these things. So tẹ́ bá ti master, in case tẹ́ bá rí pé discuss type 1 error, discuss type 2 error, so ẹ master ẹ̀. So ẹ máa lo H naught, H1, null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, reject, do not reject. Kí n lo accept. So I've told you now. In case tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe lọ́nà, tẹ́ bá ti kọ accept, ẹ kàn máa rí pé bọ̀bọ́ ẹ̀ ọmọ kékeré yẹn dẹ̀ sọ ọ́ ní pé kí n lo accept o. Ẹ kàn máa ra fagilé, then do not reject, then you continue. So that's about the revision that I kind of want us to do, to run through before we now continue with your material. So at this point, ṣé Econometrics ń dùn àbí I don't know, irú àná sin a complain pé ó fẹ́ fọ́ wa lórí dànù. All right, so now let's turn to the material and then read up some things. So the material our ní àti economic theory, econometric theory, examples of relationship àti 44 limitations of econometric model òun ni mo ti ṣàlàyé láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. So you can just read this one up to add to whatever it is that you want to say. So tá bá tiẹ̀ kà láti bẹ̀rẹ̀, only I'm on 4.5 now. Okay, mo rí pé ẹ ti ń send àwọn nǹkan kan wọlé sí mi. Alright, so mo ti rí wọn. So àwọn wà ní 4.5 mi tẹ́ bá ti ṣí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ní material àtọ̀dọ̀ yín bẹ́ẹ̀ náà. It says like other forms of statistical analysis, badly specified econometric models may show a spurious relationship where two variables are correlated but causally unrelated. Àṣàlàyé ilé náà lánàá náà pé gbàtẹ́ bá lọ fi variable tí ẹ̀kẹ́ fi síbẹ̀. So there are 3 different ways tí yẹn lè ṣẹlẹ̀. Wrong functional form, that is ibi tó yẹ kí bóyá square ló yẹ kí dependent variable ní àbí dependent variable tẹ́ wá lọ ṣe ní square, àbí bóyá variable tó yẹ kẹ́ fi síbẹ̀ ẹ fi sí, àbí variable tó yẹ kẹ́ yọ kúrò ẹ fi síbẹ̀. So in that case there's going to be a problem. And then it's not as if econometrics will kind of tell you pé variable lè gangan lẹ kó fi sí. So ẹ̀yin lẹ ní láti understand economic theory to know. So it is limited in that sense that if you can put like a lot of variables in an econometric model, all them have generate result for you. I don't like result it makes sense, but the result will eventually be like a foolish result. So I think there was an example here yesterday tó sọ̀rọ̀ lórí Nicolas Cage movies àti àwọn èèyàn tó ń kú nínú swimming pool. So a dẹ̀ sọ pé our relationship wà ó pé tẹ́ bá perform regression yẹn báyìí kẹ́ ẹ máa rí pé okay bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹni bá ṣe movie bá increase the movie tó ń ṣe by 2%, 4% of people will die on average. So economists will tell you that, but then tẹ́ bá lo common sense anymore. Then there was even one tí mo kà láàrin ibìkan tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa yellow car and number of accidents. Pé the more you have yellow cars on the road, the fewer the accidents. The more you have the yellow cars on the road. So tẹ́ bá gba data lórí number of yellow cars àti accidents, ó show pé tí yellow cars dey bá increase, pé okay o accidents ń reduce. But in that case, ṣé yellow car ló wá ń cause accident tó ń reduce ni? Kí lẹ feel nípa question yẹn? So kí gbogbo wa lọ máa ra yellow cars? Ẹ ti understand? So but then tẹ́ bá kó data yẹn papọ̀, tẹ́ ṣe regression yín, ó lè fún ní result tó wà fantastic. Á dẹ̀ máa sọ fún yín pé o, á máa sọ fún yín pé yellow cars explain 97% of what is happening to accidents in the country. Á dẹ̀ show yín bẹ́ẹ̀ pé yellow cars ó explain 97% of it. But then it is just bullshit. Pé yellow cars kò make any sense now. Ẹ ti understand? So in that case now, you be the one to like, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? And one of the things I said yesterday, that there could be a confounding variable. So me, whatever not in contact with a confounding variable, I know. Yeah. So confounding variable, a silent variable that might be influencing a particular result, which is not mentioned in the analysis. That's why I said lánàá pé tí mo lo example sunlight tó ń jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn kán máa lọ máa fi lá ice cream kó dẹ̀ máa dúró sí etí omi, tó dẹ̀ tún jẹ́ kí shark náà máa bọ̀ kó máa float náà ní orí omi. Àwọn méjì máa pàdé, then there's going to be a shark accident. So the example there is not that ice cream is causing people to like die, but there's a confounding variable there, which is like the sunlight. So in this case now, there might be a confounding variable pé okay o, àwọn èèyàn tó máa ń ra yellow cars, like they naturally prefer safety. So that might be the confounding variable pé okay o, most likely if someone should buy a yellow car, àbí tó bá fẹ́ kó paint car ẹ̀ ní yellow, most likely tẹ́ bá wo personality ẹni yẹn, the person is likely to be someone that drives carefully. So ó lè jẹ́ nǹkan tó ń fà á nìyẹn. So it's not like pé ẹ kàn lọ gbé yellow car sọ́nà pé kíní kan. So it is the personality of those people that is influencing the result. But if you don't take care of that, econometrics is also going to show you. So you are the one that would have to like think it out or find a way to like get it. Okay, this is actually what is happening. So if I waste too much time, then paragraph 3, no, is it 1, 2, 3, paragraph 4 on page 45. So econometrics is sometimes criticized for relying too heavily on the interpretation of raw data without linking it to an established theory or looking for causal relationships. So I think we've also mentioned here too, in lórí over reliance on their statistical tools. So results lè má jẹ́ nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ in the real world, but then you just rely on it anyway. Based on nǹkan tá a ṣe níbí báyìí o, results yìí ní sẹ́ẹ̀. So ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ máa argue pé kò yẹ kó rí báyìí náà. Nǹkan tó wà ní nǹkan tí data ń sọ fún wa ni pé data ò lè máa parọ́ náà. Data ò lè parọ́, èèyàn ló máa ń parọ́, data ò lè máa parọ́. It's okay. So then these answers to SAEs, I think you were saying yesterday pé àwọn answer táwọn èèyàn bá ń kọ ní àwọn ilé. So let me see kí níbo ni SAE 3 gan wà. Self-assessment exercise 3. Only what are the limitations of econometric model? So lè dáhùn ẹ̀ báyìí. Exactly. Then discuss the criticisms of econometric model. 1 and 2, the same thing. How many? Then discuss the argument by some economists why most econometric models are wrong. Yeah, it is still talking about the same thing. When you why they are wrong functional form is there. Then omission bias. Kí la ń pè ní omission bias? The omission of important variables from your analysis. Ìyẹn ni wọ́n ń pè ní omission bias. Kí ló jẹ mí gbogbo body báyìí? Wow. So there might be omission bias. I didn't mention that, but I'm telling you now. Then ẹsẹ̀un. So you can read through nǹkan tó wà níbí báyìí, grammar ńlá ló ṣàkún bẹ́ẹ̀. But if you read through them, you will understand what they are trying to say. You read page 48, paragraph 2. Page 48, paragraph 2. It says, mi mọ̀ tẹ́ bá tẹ̀ ti débẹ̀ ẹ kà fún wa kí n mọ̀ bí ẹ tẹ̀ ti débẹ̀ náà. Ẹ ti lock up o. Hello ma. Àbí mi nìkan mo okay, mo ṣàkà mo gba àbí mi nìkan mo kun meeting ni. Ah, she has sorry pé she has left me behind. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, additive. So ẹ mọ̀ gbogbo àwọn relationship yẹn a máa ń tá a bá ṣe regression line plus la máa ń ṣe. A máa ní consumption is equal to b naught plus b1 b1 x plus b2 x2 nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. So pé kí ni assurance pé plus ní relationship yẹn? Kí ni assurance pé kò kì í ṣe exponential relationship yẹn ló ń pè ní diatomic bí bomb. And she like, "Boah, it is what's the assurance that it is a plus relationship, that is not maybe like a square or a cube relationship or a multiplicative relationship in the real world." No. I can discuss on like in the real like in the real world. So then if you read kí ló ń pè the second paragraph the first paragraph in that particular page, no, Tony, the most econometricians still concentrate on fixed parameter models, and that's parameter values and estimated in specific spatial temporal context are presupposed to be exportable to totally different contexts. So kí ni fixed parameter model? Ìgbà tẹ́ ṣe analysis níbì kan bí ẹ lo data àti Lagos State tá à ń sọ lánàá pé ẹ fi ṣe ti civil nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní civil service, that same data kan máa automatically assume pé ó máa hold náà ní Ogun State. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní exporting it, pé wò pé ṣé kò possible kí beta naught yín àti beta one àti beta two àti beta three yín kó likely ní a different value in a different environment. So nǹkan tó ń try to sọ nìyẹn pé econometrics relies on a fixed parameter estimation, and then they try to export it from one situation to another situation. Ó lè affect wa Nàìjíríà ló máa fi sọ pé a máa lọ copy policies of nation tó ṣiṣẹ́, a máa gbé wá sínú economy tiwa náà straight live and direct without considering the peculiarities of our own economy. A kàn máa import ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ni. Whereas there are some things that are peculiar to their own country tó jẹ́ kí kíní yẹn work. But tá a bá ti gbé lọ́dọ̀ wa báyìí, a ní consider àwọn structural challenges tiwa. A kàn máa try pé okay, what depreciate currency wọn ní ìlú òyìnbó, pàtó dẹ̀ depreciate export increase, import decrease, balance of payments improve. Ẹ̀kọ́ dé Nàìjíríà yìí náà kọ́ ti decrease ẹ̀ ní. A wá di wẹ́lò. All right. So you can read through. Tẹ́ bá feel pé there's anything that you want clarification on, then we can just talk about that. Now, why is econometrics important within economics? So mo ti ṣàlàyé eléyìí náà. So number one, only it provides an easy way to test the statistical significance in a theory. So mo fẹ́ béèrè ìbéèrè lọ́wọ́ yín sí pé kí ni ìtumọ̀ statistical significance? Mo ti ṣàlàyé eléyìí ni o. Exactly. ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ bí ẹ̀ ń lọ náà. Okay. No. Hey, ẹni là ṣe o. That was even the first thing tí mo ṣàlàyé lé nínú yẹn. Màá bẹ́ sẹ̀ǹdẹ̀ sí yín sí tẹ́ bá lè decipher ẹ̀. Bá ti lè fi rántí.
Unlikely that your result will be statistical significant. Statistical. We have evidence that the result is significant. Ṣe bínú population náà láti yọ sample. Kí wá ní relationship tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀? Àwọn sọ pé we have evidence that the result we see in the sample also exists in the population. Ẹ̀yìn rí bẹ́ẹ̀ òye máa correct.
No, it's every time o. It's every time o. It's every time rárá. There are different bias that could happen, and then there are different errors that you can have. So in the results, is it every time? Tabani, okay, for example, si wọ́n ní. Ṣe bọ́ọ̀ nìyẹn. Now ṣe bí n ta ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ lé nínú yẹn pé if you say something is statistically significant, we are saying that the relationship that exists among the variables that we obtained, from a sample, the relationship will not exist in the population. So just try to tell us pé nǹkan tá a gbà yìí pé ó true. What I'm trying to say nìyẹn. Now tẹ́ bá gba kí ló ń porúkọ ẹ̀ sí tẹ́ bá gba ẹ wo sample Nigerians in GDP per capita, GDP divided by population ló yẹ kó jẹ́. Àwa gba sample population tó wá lò all lo àbí sample tó all lo Ọ̀tẹ́dọ́lá, all lo Dangote, all lo Tinubu, all lo Tony Elumelu àtàwọn rich people yẹn. Òun ló fi nǹkan contribution ti wọn ló fi ṣe GDP per capita ti gbogbo Nàìjíríà yẹn. Mo kí sample àwọn kan nìyẹn tó kàn fi ṣe result wa gbà ọwá fẹ́ fi result yẹn sọ lórí GDP per capita gbogbo àwọn Nigerians. So ṣe fi kó máa correct àbí máa wrong?
Ó máa wrong torí kò ní sọ pé Nàìjíríà.
That's what we are saying. So it's like sample kan ni wọ́n lò and it's not representative. So result tí yẹn máa fún wa kò ní wà statistically significant. Do you understand bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn? So but then you might also be able to like draft out another random sample. Ẹgbà tàwọn kan lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kì í ṣe pé ẹ kò lọ bá àwọn specified people kan bí ẹ kò ṣáà lọ randomly ẹ lọ Òṣòdì interview àwọn kan àbí ẹgbà data àwọn kan ẹ lọ sí Ìkẹjà ẹ lọ sí Ànàpájà ẹ kúrò ní Lagos ẹ lọ sí Ọ̀ṣun state ẹ lọ sí àwọn state àwọn ibì kankan bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ ṣáà máa mọ̀ káàkiri 36 state of Nigeria bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. So ẹgbà data yín ní bí i 400 observations àbí 500 àbí 1000 ẹ fi run regression. Ẹ bá dẹ̀ fi run regression, it is possible that the result, because random people tell meet yẹn ìmí olówó ló máa jẹ́ nu wọn, ìmí máa jẹ́ táníkà, ìmí dẹ̀ máa jẹ́ middle class, like random something ẹ̀kọ́ ṣáà ṣe. The result that you might get might actually be reflective of what is happening in the economy. So in that case, sample mi náà nìyẹn. Ní irú population yẹn, population yẹn data gbogbo Nigerians ní population yìí. So inú population ẹ ti gba sample méjì báyìí, sample kan tàwọn tó ní ìlú méjì, sample mi náà ní this other one. So this other one may now give you a result that is like reflective of what is happening in the Nigerian economy. So yẹn lè fún ní bí GDP per capita àwọn Nigerians pé ó moderate. O lè fún ní result ẹ̀ pé ó moderate. And by the time you look at the entire population, tẹ́ bá ṣe data ti entire population náà, ẹ lè rí pé GDP Nigeria wà moderate and ó lè show pé ó wà poor the sample that I used ó lè show pé GDP per capita Nigeria sì wà poor and then if you check the entire this thing náà ó lè jẹ́ nǹkan tó máa ṣe náà nìyẹn. So once the relationship is established pé what you have in the population, right, the relationship that you have among your variables, if you look at the entire population is same or is similar to what the sample is giving you, you see that the result of the sample is statistically significant. As you understand, but if it is not reflective, the result of the sample is not statistically significant.
ẹ má bínú.
Ah, ní ọ̀fẹ́ ṣe àbí?
Àgbàlagbà lẹ arúgbó lẹ nǹkan tí ọpọlọ ti ń lọ lórí ẹbí.
No, ó ti ń súnmọ́ closing time. Fọ́ọ̀tì náà fọ́ọ̀tì ní kọ́ bí ẹ mọ̀ lọ́lé ẹ mọ̀ lọ́lé ni.
Not that closing time as in me got to put ọpọlọ mi.
Ṣé nǹkan wàá pọ̀ náà ọpọlọ ọmọdé náà?
Ọlẹ́ dàbí.
Ó ti dáa. Ó ti dáa. So why is econometrics important within economics? Number one, it provides an easy way to test statistical significance in the theory. So once the theory bá ti ní price are currently demanded nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ when you run your regression máa easily sọ fún yín pé there is a way you look at it ẹ máa kọ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn parameters kọ̀ọ̀kan okay ẹ wo f-stat ó ní nǹkan tó máa ń pè ní f-stat ó ní nǹkan tó máa ń pè ní p-value ó ní nǹkan tó máa ń pè ní t-stat ó ní nǹkan tó máa ń pè ní critical values so ṣáà ní bá ṣe máa release gbogbo wọn ẹ ṣe máa okay this one is more than this one is more than that this one is okay definitely this is statistically significant so ó ṣáà láwọn measures yẹn so ìyẹn tí iṣẹ́ yín bá débẹ̀ so like talk about those things ó láwọn measures kan téèyàn máa ń wò by the time tẹ́ bá da data sínú Excel for example tẹ́ ṣe regression ó láwọn kankan téèyàn máa ń lọ wò besides the regression equation so those things will now let you know that okay there is a statistically significant so kì í ṣe kẹ́ máa ní the result is significant o nǹkan tá a sọ kọ́ nìyẹn the result is statistically significant. ẹ ti understand significant so kì í ṣe pé the result is significant it is statistically significant or the result is not statistically significant so ìyẹn ní sọ pé the result is statistically insignificant kì í ṣe insignificant so it is either statistically significant or not statistically significant. So that's about that. Then the other thing tó ṣàlàyé ní pàtì yìí kò necessary nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ nígbà these are shortcomings of econometrics nǹkan tó sọ ní second paragraph àti nǹkan tó sọ ní second paragraph problem nǹkan tó sọ ní second paragraph not importance so ẹ̀kọ́ lè yáàdì yẹn náà mọ́ nǹkan tẹ́tí mọ́ as problem but nǹkan tí second paragraph yẹn sọ ní manipulation tí mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan tí mo explain nípa the shortcomings of econometrics pa máa manipulate ẹ bá ti run ní ìtẹ́rígbà result yóò jọ theory o ẹ kàn máa lọ tweak ẹ ní okay lag 1 kò fún mi ní nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ máa change sí lag 4 tí lag 4 bá ti fún yín ọpẹ́ o result yín nìyẹn ó lè jẹ́ kó zoro so that one is meant to be under problem. Then meaning of modern economics I don't know modern econometrics this one too àtúnsọ náà ni. So modern econometrics is the use of mathematics and statistics as a way to analyze economic phenomena and predict future outcomes. So yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tá a mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ni. As you understand, so kí ìwé ṣáà ti kún òní gbogbo pàtì eléyìí. So whatever but story ṣáà wà ń bẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ hard. This is often done through use of complex econometric models that portray the cause and effects of past or current economic stimuli. Stimuli òun ni dependent variable tẹ́ bá rántí response òun ni dependent variable àwọn question tẹ́ ń bí mi lánàá.
Mo tẹ̀ tí wá rí dáadáa ní mo
so stimulus response kìíní kan mo ṣáà sọ lọ́dọ̀ kan báyìí so ìyẹn mo ṣáà ka ọgbẹ́ pé they can give you different names so then one of the distinguishing features of modern econometrics is the use of complex computer algorithms that can crunch tremendous amounts of data and create a concise and coherent overview of some aspects of the economy. So ẹ lè gba data lórí 10 states in Nigeria ẹ lè gba data lórí like 1 million observations ẹ bá ṣáà ti lè kó owó ẹ̀ pọ̀ ẹ dà sínú Excel àbí ẹ dà sínú e-views máa run ẹ ó lè take in fact kò sí ẹ̀ kí n take time gan láàrin few seconds ó ti gbé result jáde tẹ́lẹ̀ lò tó lè máa so everything here is just àtúnsọ. Then second paragraph ní for a long period of time in the past economists could make hypotheses and guesses about the economy but couldn't prove their theories with some sort of obvious sea change in there. So nǹkan tí yẹn sọ ni pé hypothesis ni nǹkan tí àwọn èèyàn ṣáà fi style sọ opinion àwọn rò pé but they didn't have the tools to empirically and quantitatively substantiate their claim pé nǹkan tí mò ń sọ yìí pé lóòótọ́ pé nǹkan tó really ṣẹlẹ̀ ni and this is to what extent. So econometrics has helped to simplify that by giving a quantitative basis for something and even telling us that okay nǹkan tí ẹ observe that is actually true or not true anyhow sha. Then third paragraph irú yẹn sìn other importance ní ẹ̀kọ́ wà I think we've said it sha. Although it can be defined in many ways, modern econometrics essentially boils down to plugging statistical information about an economy into mathematical formulas. For example, when interest rates rise, it might affect employment levels, inflation, economic growth, and so on. So using econometrics, an analyst might be able to pinpoint exactly how and to what extent this occurs. So why can you do that? Because our parameters in here, our estimators here, all money number, B naught, money number can be alpha naught, B2, whatever, they will have their own numbers. So you can now say, pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí tí money supply, aggressive men fẹ́ increase money supply. Tí money supply bá lọ increase by 3%, I expect an inflation change of about 2%. So the Buffalo law increase money supply by 3% based on that regression function. So like you can say, you can pinpoint this is what will happen. So not that the buy increase money supply, inflation might share level. Inflation may share level, but like to what extent? So econometrics helps you to like pinpoint exactly. Then the last paragraph says the proponents of modern econometrics should factor in those unforeseen circumstances that can trigger huge negative changes in an economy. Now, nígbà tẹ́ ní pé they should ẹni pé kí wọ́n factor unforeseen circumstances. Báwo ni wọ́n ṣe lè factor nǹkan tí ò rí? Àbí factor unforeseen circumstances. For example, even in geography, àwọn tó máa study tsunami àti earthquakes and whatever like that. Wọ́n máa ń ṣe worst case scenario. Bóyá earthquake kan ṣẹlẹ̀ níbì kan sìn. Àwa wá based on irú earthquake yẹn wá sọ pé okay tí earthquake tí times 10 irú earthquake yìí bá tún ṣẹlẹ̀ so kí ni ó yẹ kí our measures on look are put in place so that it does not affect us the way it affected us this time. Things like that. Econometrics náà ni mo nǹkan tó máa lò náà láàrin yẹn. Okay, there's a magnitude of orí COVID nísìn for example tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn. Okay, if there's another COVID pé kí làwọn measures sí a lè put in place to ensure that the economy does not come to a halt. Right, so tẹ́ bá ṣe ẹ̀ nísìn nǹkan tó máa happen ni pé a new disaster is often greater than the past disaster. So I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Tó bá pè nǹkan ní epidemic tuntun ní like I don't know how you can prepare for something that you never know could possibly happen. So even if you are trying to like prepare for it for an unforeseen circumstance, you are preparing based on what happened last. But what is going to happen may be entirely different from what happened last. So the measures they were put in place there's a tendency that it's not going to work. But then people are still saying, yeah, okay, the proponents of modern economy should factor in those of us. It factor. So that is why the material now says one way to do this is to simulate worst case scenarios. Can simulate like Kenya call like only what I mention simulate. If computer person say any so just the simulation of a worst case scenario. Worst you. Bye ẹlòmíì máa ní ó wọ́n sì jù fún mi rírú ẹ̀ rí bá máa ní 10,000 naira account ó worst jù ṣebí based on nǹkan tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ẹ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ rí ló ṣe ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ so ṣé o mọ̀ nǹkan tó lè ṣe ẹ́ tẹ́ pé wàá wọ bí -1 million. So I don't know if you got that part ṣé àṣewà meeting àbí ẹ ti fi mílẹ̀ síbi.
ẹ sì wá bẹ́ẹ̀ -1 million yín ló pa mí lẹ́yìn.
tòótọ́ ni wọ́n ní worst case scenario tó ń pẹ́ ó pọ̀ ju àríwẹ̀ 10,000 lòún ní account tó àwọn tó yẹ ọjọ́ iwájú tó wà jẹ gbèsè 1 million dandan tó wà máa sá kiri so ọlọ́mọ àjẹgà rí dààmú. So people are sure like I don't know why this is under meaning of modern economics sha but then ọjọ́ tí the exam bá dé ẹ̀yin lè máa mọ̀ the way exam ṣe rí ẹ̀yin lè máa mọ̀ the things to put ẹ máa gbé ní residual knowledge from different angles of your material I just put together to make a proper work. So mi mọ̀ tí a bá ní ìbéèrè ní ibi tí a dé dúró yìí àbí tá a bá ní contribution.
ẹ jẹ́ àwọn lọ kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀
Okay, so next one is
àbótó ni.
no, let's finish it. So next one is using econometrics for assessing economic models. Eléyìí náà importance of econometrics náà ni eléyìí náà bọ́ sí. This is meant to be under the importance of econometrics. I don't know why they just broke everything and scattered the whole thing. So that we use econometrics for.
Importance wa tó ṣì wà náà. Unit 5 is importance of econometrics.
Unit 5.
Get.
Wonder. Ṣebí gbogbo ṣebí ibi tá a wà importance of econometrics ní gbogbo bí báyìí náà. Unit 5 la wà náà. Okay. Ṣe bójú kan ló yẹ kó wà like 5.3 ó sọ number 1 síbẹ̀ so like number 1 then àwọn tó pè é number 2 ẹ mọ̀ kó gbogbo ẹ̀ sójú kan not irú number 1 ilé ìsìn wọ́n sọ importance wọ́n sọ problem so ilé ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọn máa try to máa yọ wọn kúrò and something like that so that's what I mean so it's not meant to be this scattered so another importance of econometrics is that it is used to evaluate or assess economic models. So here, àti ṣàlàyé lè náà, but not using this language. So in the sense that tẹ́ bá ní economic theory tó ní price, ó ní impact báyìí lórí kí ló ń pè lórí quantity demanded. So econometrics will help you know if that model truly holds or if you have to refute it based on the data and analysis that you've done. Ṣé model yìí proper ṣá kí a ti sọ pé okay báyìí ni ó yẹ kó ṣe rí but ìgbà tá a bá ṣe econometrics fi ṣe wá rí pé okay o tá a bá lo oríṣiríṣi data from different angles and you discover pé it is not what it said it should be. So irú Keynes tó sọ ń gbà yẹn pé MPC is a number between 0 and 1 model kan nìyẹn tó ní okay o C is A plus BY and B is a number between 0 and 1 tó bá gbé gbogbo analysis tí wọ́n ṣe láyé yìí nígbà tí wọ́n lo consumption and income data MPC yẹn 1.3 ló máa fún wọn ṣáá àbí 1.5 àbí 1.7 and that means the economic model postulated by Keynes is wrong. Ṣé you understand bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn? Ọ̀sùn kan tó sọ.
Ṣé tí wọ́n sọ fún un pé kó rọ̀ǹdì ká má wulẹ̀ fáwà mọ́
tó bá wrong bẹ́ẹ̀ so but nǹkan tó sọ wrong náà ni àtúnṣe tí ń lẹ̀ understand kò wrong náà ni so but I'm just using it to like set an example pé it might be if you gather data and realize that what that means so empirically speaking kò wà relevant now so you can use econometrics like just dispute the model pé gbanu sọ̀hún jàre but if the model is okay if it is corrected econometrics will also help you to prove it that the model is right. So when you read the whole thing, it says econometrics is often used passively to provide the economists with some parameter estimates, beta naught, alpha naught, whatever. So in a model, which from the outset is assumed to be empirically relevant. So kẹtẹ tó ṣe nǹkan tẹ́fẹ́ ṣe náà model yẹn ó ti máa ní àfojúsùn pé okay kíní ó make sense now like that's just what we are trying to say ó make sense láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà. So consumption is a function of income. So the common man, it makes sense. And ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé income can be a function of consumption too. Mi ò mọ̀ bí ẹ tiẹ̀ ti rò bẹ́ẹ̀ rí pé iye tí ẹ̀ ń gbà sówó oṣù is a function of iye tí ẹ̀ ń consume.
Títà mo fẹ́ sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
So because some people lifestyle wọn on the high side ló wà so wọ́n lè gbàṣẹ́ 50k. Ṣe ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn because based on your lifestyle like owó eléyìí ò kà now so it is possible that consumption is also explaining income. You understand? So um, the bottom line is just that we are trying to say that a model right must make sense from the beginning before you now even start like gather data to now test if the model is right or not. So that's what this is just saying pé a máa ń lo econometrics láti fi assess economic models or better still economic theory. Now the econometric analysis, okay, let's see, it says in this sense econometrics is used to illustrate what we believe is true rather than to find out whether our chosen models need to be modified or changed together. Now, the econometric analysis of this special issue should take its departure from the later more whatever. We would like to encourage submissions of papers addressing questions like whether a specific economic irú àwọn kan báyìí ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ máa wò kọ́kọ́ lọ copy ẹ̀ láti ibì kan wọ́n dẹ̀ paste ẹ̀ sínú material yìí because some things like relate like flow yẹn ò sí níbẹ̀ but nǹkan tí wọ́n ṣàtúnṣe àti sọ yín báyìí ni pé it is encouraging like people should be encouraged to develop econometrics is it tools now that can be used to verify if an economic model is true or not. So ọkàn try as nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ ní àárín tí mo kà ní pé àwọn researchers so that they should be encouraged to develop more econometric tools that can be used to test if economic models are relevant or not. Mi ò mọ bí yẹn ṣe kàn wá ṣá. So but what else? For example, are models which were useful in the 70s still relevant? I mean, the second to the last line on page 52. Are models used to are models which were useful in the 70s still relevant in the more globalized world of today? Actually, kò yẹ kó relevant torí àwọn underlying assumptions kan ti máa change. If not, can we use economic analysis to find out why this is the case and to suggest modifications of the theory or model? So, in the job of one of the job description of economic analysis to find out how to improve economic models. Okay, okay. So just get what ẹ̀kọ́ ṣáà get kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ṣáà get kọ́ get ìmọ̀ ẹ̀ pé okay testing of economic models náà ni tí economic models yẹn tí ó bá kù díẹ̀ tí nǹkan kan bá ti change in the world from the time they developed it, so how can it be improved or bóyá kó dẹ̀ discard it totally tí ó bá ṣiṣẹ́ mọ́. So that's what that one is saying. An improvement of that, for example, is I believe that when they started wọ́n máa ní mo believe pé the law of demand nígbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ kò ní ceteris paribus nínú ẹ̀ other things being equal. I just personally believe pé kò ní other things being equal. It was probably just the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded, and the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. That's what I just believe like on my own. But pé bóyá later wọ́n wá realize pé àwọn commodities kan wà pé price wọn máa low key àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ tún ní stop láti máa rà wọ́n. So that would now bet a new research. It will give birth to a need like why is this like you don't just discard it. So like why is this happening? No matter why realize pé àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ ostentatious goods àwọn luxury goods tó jẹ́ pé bí price wọn ṣe ń lọ kì nínú àwọn èèyàn kan ṣe máa ń dùn láti rà wọ́n. Then they will now begin to look at income náà pé àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ inferior or something like that. Even jiffing mi mo bí ẹ ti gbọ́ jiffing goods rí research ló bet jiffing goods. So jiffing lorúkọ ẹni yẹn. So he conducted a research and realized that as the among poor people tí price the product kan bá increase wọ́n máa ra more of that product. So jiffing lorúkọ ẹni tó dá kíní yẹn lẹ̀. So like I said, that was a way of improving existing theory. So bàtà wá ti wá rí other things wọ́n máa sọ okay Other things being equal, if other things that affect demand are held constant, we postulate that when the price increases, this and that will happen according to demanded and all of that. Now, níbo ni a tún lè lo econometrics? Wọ́n máa ń lo econometrics ní finance. So this is also one of the uses of econometrics. It is used in finance, or not only financial econometrics. So what is financial econometrics? Mi mo bẹ́ẹ̀ lè kà á fún wa mà.
No, financial economics is
Yes.
the subject of research that has been defined as the application of statistical methods to financial market health.
Ó ti tọ́nà, ó ti wà ókè náà bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. So it's just a branch of econometrics that relates with financial data. So it's specified, it's an applied econometrics kind of a thing in the field of finance. So in finance nìkan ni wọ́n ti ń lò. So statistical tools, the mathematical models apply everything to financial data. So irú àwọn nǹkan ọlọ́mọ máa ń study níbẹ̀. So area of study includes capital market. Kí ni capital market? Market tí wọ́n ti ń ta, you buy and sell long term financial instruments. Is the market for the purchase and sales of long term financial instruments like shares, like bonds, like stock, like debentures. So àwọn kìíní yẹn ni long term financial instruments. So wọ́n máa ń lo econometrics láti analyse nǹkan kan náà bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. And kí làwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n máa ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀? Wọ́n máa ń pè ní irú asset valuation, pé wọ́n fẹ́ mọ valuation asset. Àwọn ló mọ̀ nǹkan tó jẹ́ in the finance world. Mo máa ń gbọ́ asset valuation, wọ́n sì lè ní bóyá capitalization, àwọn grammar wọn yẹn ṣá. Then on and on like that. Even in risk management, our investments will only go bad. So that's you trying to make forecast based on our investment tó ti go bad in the past. So pé àwọn based on the past data, our investments wo ni a gbọ́dọ̀ tún tọwọ́ bọ̀ that will have likelihood of going bad tá a bá lọ tọwọ́ bọ̀. So that is also an application of econometrics in finance, you know. So if you read the whole thing from line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from line 5, topics often revolve around asset valuation of individual stocks, bonds, derivative, currencies, whatever. Financial econometrics is different from other forms of econometrics because the emphasis is usually on analyzing the prices of financial assets traded at competitive liquid markets. People working in the financial assets in the finance industry or researching the finance sector often use econometric techniques in a range of activities. For example, in the support of portfolio management, eléyìí tẹ́ bá ṣe oríṣiríṣi investment, so for you to manage your portfolio, okay, invest in shares of this one now, reduce your investment in that one, nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. And in the valuation of securities, financial economics is essential to risk management. Ìgbà tí mo ṣe orientation fún àwọn mo máa ń ṣe orientation fún àwọn online students mi, àwọn undergraduates la máa ń kọ́ 300 level orientation. So one of the guys that we brought on to like talk to the students, so he was trying to òun ṣiṣẹ́ ní risk advisory pẹ̀lú FBN Quest, like First Bank Quest. So he was not trying to explain to them pé àwọn econometrics tó wù kán gbà ní 300 level pé tí gbogbo wọn sọ pé kò wúlò pé ó padà wá wúlò, òun làwọn ń lò ní risk advisory níbi iṣẹ́ báyìí nísìn. So that is just one thing. So òun ló jẹ́ kí n náà understand that aspect of econometrics better. Not that I can conduct risk management whatever, but I just got to know pé wọ́n máa ń lo econometrics náà ní finance industry to do things like that. So then 5.6.1 is still talking about financial econometrics. I don't know what APT is. 3 will mention it. But they mentioned CAPM, which is capital asset pricing model. So just trying to tell us difference. I don't think this is necessary though, to be honest. So Tebaka, they memorize it. Fine. So Babi, or for me, I don't think it is necessary. So I don't know if you now have questions. The self-assessment exercise here, only key importance of financial econometrics. Kí ni importance of financial? So kí lẹ máa sọ tí wọ́n bá béèrè irú nǹkan báyìí lọ́wọ́ yín báyìí?
Um, ní statistical method náà ni nǹkan lò ní financial
Kí ni wọ́n fi
like responsible
okay,
tí wọ́n fi ń ṣe risk management.
exactly.
So ara importance ẹ̀ nìyẹn.
All right.
Tó mi gbà.
Ẹgbàá nàmbà mo ń test àwọn kan sí ní WhatsApp ni.
Oh, my God.
Well, not that. Yeah, maybe. So at least the one that was mentioned in the material, asset valuation, risk management, portfolio management. So I've texted them to you on WhatsApp. Different ways that econometrics is important in finance. Then, what is the difference between econometrics and financial econometrics?
In their name.
Ah! Hey,
Ìkan ní finance, ìkan ní ìkejì o.
very good, very good. Ah, wonderful, wonderful. It's okay. Oh. Hmm. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ ẹ̀ náà ni o. Àmì ti gbà àmì àbí o bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ ẹ̀ náà ni. Àbẹ́ṣe sọ ẹ̀ náà ni àmì ti gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ kí ló kọ́ mi? Mo ti gbà bẹ́ẹ̀. So the difference is in the name. Lecturer ṣojú ń dun ní kan ní finance kan dẹ̀ ní finance. So so ó ti tán náà nìyẹn. So that's about that. Uh,
Ẹ jẹ́ sọ ọ̀kan tó bá jẹ́ pé ní nǹkan tó kù yẹn, ẹ jẹ́ sọ.
no, I mean, àṣeyṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ exam. Mi mo àyẹ̀ lè kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà sínú exam. Àbí? Máa kọ story náà ni. Just the definition of econometrics and the definition of financial econometrics. Then you now use that to state some aspect of financial, some aspects, and you now use that to state the importance of financial econometrics. And so, with financial econometrics is the application of econometrics in finance. And some of the areas in which it is used is this, and this. While econometrics is just, or is defined as, or is the application of statistical tools, kinikon, and economic theory, or to the field of economic theory, or whatever, sha. Ṣá kó méjì pọ̀, and then you get what you're supposed to get. So that's that. Our next topic is in module 2. So for me, I want us like call it a day here. It has enough pé òun náà ti tó. So tomorrow we can now start this one afresh. All ló ti tó. It's all right. So tomorrow, tomorrow we start with single equation modeling and all of that. So yeah, what's it down? Only let's issue. So what's the problem? What's the problem? So see you tomorrow by God's grace, ma. Yeah, welcome, ma. I'll send you a video on regression. Ṣé kí n send then? Tẹ́ bá lè gbọ́ nǹkan tí Emmanuel sọ ń bẹ̀ ṣá, nǹkan kan loud, ó ti loud jù. It's a shame. It's a shame. Tẹ́ bá lè gbọ́ nǹkan tó bá sọ ń bẹ̀ ṣá, I'll send it. I'll share it with you. I'll share it with you. Alright, so prepare for tomorrow's class. All right, ma. Take care, ma.